What up, y'all? Appreciate you showing up, hanging out, listening to my dumb ass. Like and subscribe. So, seems that CMA, they're trying their darndest to appease their Lord and Savior, Jimothy Ryan. So they blocked the deal. And it is so blatantly clear that they are in the pocket of Sony, Jim Ryan, PlayStation. I don't know who. I would say Sony, because now they're claiming, because cloud gaming. They're gonna have an advantage on the cloud gaming side. I'm like, they don't understand what cloud gaming is. Cloud gaming is in its infancy. It's barely anything. Nobody uses it for real. And the best cloud gaming is not even Xbox. It's like NVIDIA Shield or whatever it's called. I can't remember what it's called. GeForce Now or whatever it's called. That's like the best one. And so, Stadia was better than Xbox as far as latency and stuff. So, by saying that, they're negating and they're omitting obvious information, which is Xbox has already put these 10-year deals in for NVIDIA, for all these other cloud gaming services. And yet and still, in their language, they said, they have the incentive to make it exclusive for their cloud gaming. I'm like, do y'all not, to me, it's like y'all are just, it's a delay tactic. That's what this is. It's a delay tactic because now Microsoft, Activision, they're acting like they're together already. They're shipped already, you know what I'm saying? Because Lulu Chain came up and was like, yeah, we're gonna appeal that. Bobby was like, yeah, we're gonna appeal that. Microsoft was like, yeah, we're gonna appeal that. So they're gonna appeal it, right? That takes forever. So this is basically just a delay tactic, I would say orchestrated by Jim Ryan, put forth by the CMA, which is in Jim Ryan's pocket, and that's what it is. But here's the thing, it doesn't matter. The only thing that will affect this whole thing, the only thing that will be affected is that Microsoft won't get all the dollars. They won't get the King dollars, they won't get the Call of Duty dollars and stuff like that. But I will say this deal will still go through. It may take a couple of years, but it's still gonna go through. But here's the thing. Here's the thing that the Ponies and the Donkey Unicorns and Jim Ryan probably already knows, because he literally said, we don't want a deal, we just want to block your merger. He said that. So Activision's like, that's how it is. Okay, so I guess we're gonna go chill over here with Microsoft. Remember that deal that we had? Yeah. So now what's gonna happen? This is my prediction. What's gonna happen is Activision and Microsoft are going to go into let's say a 10-year deal for Call of Duty to have exclusive content, to do all the things. No, not exclusive content, but the same thing that Sony was doing these past 10 years, Microsoft will do with Activision. Since they're not allowed to buy them, basically, it's not going to be the same because they don't want to hurt the chances of the deal going through. But what will happen is it will negate the advantages that Sony had with their deal as far as getting exclusive content, exclusive levels, exclusive, all that stuff. First, stuff. No, they're not getting that anymore. Activision has no incentive to make these deals with Sony anymore. And if they continue to status quo, I mean, they will until the deal is over. I think next year it's over, until their contract that exists right now. But after that contract is done, they can go over to Microsoft and say, yo, let's do a contract. Let's go. We're a free agent. And they can do some stuff. They can do like a 6-month exclusivity, or they probably won't, but they can do all the things that Sony has done. And Sony is smart in that they said all this stuff. They cried about, they're gonna make it worse, right? Same thing they've been doing basically. And so now, if that actually happens, then they can see, we told you this is what's gonna happen. See? So they're smart in that respect, but it's underhanded. I do not like people. I keep saying this, I do not like this behavior. If this was a person, I would be like, yo, I wish I could smack you. without any repercussions because you're just not a good person, but I'm just going to leave you alone, and I'm out, because it doesn't make sense. I mean, it makes sense for them because it's business, but this whole delay tactic, it has harmed their Sony's standing with Activision, Blizzard, King. I'm just gonna say Activision and Call of Duty because that's all they care about. And so moving forward, I'm thinking, how will this affect the bottom line at Sony, right? If Microsoft goes into a marketing deal with Call of Duty, I mean, literally, that's all they have to do. They do a marketing deal. Nothing is exclusive. None of that. None of the shenanigans that Sony has pulled over the years. Just exclusive. Every time a Call of Duty commercial comes up, Xbox at the end, or in the beginning, only on it. Order now on Xbox. You know, whatever they say. You know, something that doesn't negate the fact that it's on PlayStation, but all you see is Xbox and Call of Duty, both green. That's all it takes, because all these sheeple and all these casuals are watching TV or watching whatever videos on YouTube, and then an Xbox commercial comes up with Call of Duty, the new Call of Duty on Xbox, let's go. You know, that's all it takes. So, and that does not go against the deal or anything that they were talking about as far as what Sony was crying about, or Jim Crying Ryan was crying about. It doesn't go against anything that their complaints, because this is just marketing. This has nothing to do with exclusive content or degrading the console, the version of PlayStation, or any of that. So I think that is what is going to happen. Microsoft is going to grab the marketing rights for Call of Duty for 10, I'm going to say just 10 years. They'll be like, let's go, 10 years. Here you go, $4 billion or whatever it is, you know. They'll give them some money, or they'll do a year by year basis, whatever. But I'm going to tell you right now, you know, industry is built on relationships. And Sony is squandering any goodwill that they've had with Activision Blizzard with this whole fiasco. And, you know, it's obviously, look, Microsoft, Activision, Blizzard King, they are gonna do it. They're like, look, we're gonna appeal, we're gonna do this. They don't care. They're in already. They're too far in to give up. And they have enough money. That's the thing that the Ponies and Donkey Unicorns are doing. And Sony, I guess, doesn't realize it. Microsoft has enough money to keep going for years. And if they go for that long, they won't say, oh, we give up at the end. No, because they're gonna lose $10 billion or however much it will cost them. So it's like, no, we're not gonna, that doesn't make any sense. We're just gonna add these little delay fees, these billions of dollars of delay fees. We'll just add that onto, you know, our bottom line at the end, and then we'll figure it out. We'll get the money back, you know. And once we get it, we'll get all the money. It's okay. Candy Crush, we'll get all the money back. So it's a losing battle for Sony, but I wouldn't call it smart. It's a desperate attempt to delay, and it's working. But it's still desperate. There's still whiffs of desperation because they have no answer. And the thing is like, in 10 years, in 20 years, will Call of Duty be relevant? Probably not. Maybe. Who knows? Nobody knows. It's too far out. But, you know, Sony has to start thinking about their first party and making their own Fortnite, making their own Call of Duty, making something that can be a competitor. You know, as far as the way that I see it, the way that I've been watching Sony all these years, they have not really been competing. They have been taking the market and manipulating the market to their advantage. It's the same thing that Nintendo did in the NES. I said this before, but the same thing that Nintendo did back in the days in the 80s when the NES was out and Sega Master System was trying to be something, all these other consoles were trying to be something. They couldn't get games. Sega Master System couldn't get third-party games for nothing because Nintendo had these contracts with all Konami, Capcom, all these publishers and all these game creators. If you put your game on the NES, on the Nintendo, you can't put it nowhere else. Exclusive, baby. That's what they did back in the day. And it's the same thing that Sony's trying to do right now. Well, same thing that they are doing right now. And so when I say Sony is creatively bankrupt, Sony has no new ideas. it goes back to the origins of the PlayStation, because they are literally taking Nintendo's handbook and they're applying it now. More than 30 years, 40 years. 40 years later, Sony's looking, oh yeah, we should do that. Instead of innovating, you're like, oh, they innovated, they got PSVR 2. That's not innovation. They copied Oculus Rift was the innovation. PlayStation said, let's copy that. There's our version of it. Nobody's buying it. It's a failure. So whenever they try, I was about to say whenever they try to innovate, they literally haven't been trying to innovate for years. The first innovation was the last innovation, which was a PlayStation, the original PlayStation. That was the innovation. This base games, this base system. That was it. They gave up after that. They said, yeah, whatever. I mean, you could say iToy. Okay, sure. I don't think so. Give me something else. You notice how the PSVR controller looks kind of sort of like the Rift control. You notice that, right? No original ideas. Ah, man, I tell you what, it's this whole thing it's definitely entertaining. And look, if people get upset about it, like, oh man, I hate Sony, or oh yay, glad Xbox got smacked down, or it's foolishness. Don't do that, because honestly, these giant corporations are still gonna do what they're gonna do. It really is all about that money and relationships, and Sony is messing up their relationships with the money makers. They're biting the hands that feed them, and so now they're gonna feed somebody else, and we're gonna see that. We're gonna see that. Plus, you know, I know Microsoft has been lacking in their macking as far as putting out output games, but that's gonna eventually turn. And while the bad news does come, the thing about that is when Sony doesn't have any multiplayer games. That's the thing. All their games are single player, right? For the most part. They haven't put out Last of Us Factions. When did The Last of Us 2 come out? It's a while ago, right? They were working on Factions at the same time, right? Why is Factions not out yet? Because Sony sucks at multiplayer games. That's why. And now they're gonna do a Horizon multiplayer. That's gonna be bad too. They don't see Sony. Y'all ponies, y'all donkey unicorns. Y'all think y'all know when Sony comes out with those games, and they're gonna be hot trash garbage and fail harder than Destruction All Stars. Then you're gonna realize, oh, multiplayer games is hard. Sony already knows that. That's why they stopped making them, because they can't do it. They figure, oh, let's buy Sony. Let's buy Bungie. They'll help us. I don't think so. Now with all the layoffs and stuff happening. Anyway, I'm sorry. I'm talking too much shit about Sony. The Sony police is coming after me. They not. They always come after me when I do a video. Woo! You better stop. Woo! But anyway. But yeah, I was hoping, for the deal to pass, but not just for it to be over, so we can move on and be happy about just games coming out. We can still, but this will loom over this whole generation, I would say. Let's say this takes another year to 2 years, right? You got appeals, you got all this stuff. And even as I understand it, when Microsoft, Activision appeal this CMA ruling to whatever the courts are in Europe, in England, UK, then it either goes back to the CMA for re-evaluation, or I guess it goes to a higher court. I don't know where it goes after that. So it's a bunch of bureaucracy. It's a bunch of blah, blah, blah. I hate it myself because I've been messing with the courts for a little bit. That's what happens when you, anyway, I'm not going into that right now. Oh, nope. Ooh, I almost did. Anyway, don't worry. Anyway. You're not gonna get that anyway. So the deal will eventually go through. It's just gonna take longer. Like I said, delay tactics. It's working for Sony, but it's an inevitable fate that this will come to pass. But in the meantime, we have to look at you know, the state of video games. I know there's been videos about the state of Xbox, the state of Xbox. What about the state of Sony? What about the state of PlayStation? Now I know Legend was in the comments talking about, you know, we were talking about the percentages, the last video and stuff, and basically I did the quick math on it, and the 12.5% growth versus the 36% growth on PlayStation, right? Xbox was 12.5, PlayStation was 36, right? Something. And I said, Sony is only worth $91 billion. And Xbox, no, I'm sorry, $91 a share. Or 91 billion. I think it was $91 a share. And Xbox is 260, I think, or 270. 200, might be 280. It's 280, 279 something. And I'm like, if you do it by share and percentages, it's close to the same, but Microsoft ekes it over by a couple $100. It's 3,000 something for both of them as far as the amount of money that was made with the percentage change. So 12.5% at $280 a share versus 36% at $91 a share. It's the same. It's almost the same amount of money. And he was trying to go back and forth with me. I'd buy it at 91 cheaper. I'm like, we're not talking about buying shares. We're not talking about buying low and selling high. We're talking about if you have shares, how much are your shares worth? We're talking about the worth of the money of the company, not and how much it's grown. Not, oh, I'm gonna buy it because it's cheap. Come on. So this is the tactics of ponies. I don't like calling you a pony legend, but you act like one a little bit sometimes. This is the tactics of regular ponies, where they say, oh, you know, oh, I'd rather. I'm like, we're not talking about buying and selling stocks. We're talking about the worth of the stock, the worth of. That's what we're talking about, okay? Don't twist it. Don't try to twist it, man. Anyway, I enjoyed that though. That was cool though. I appreciate you in the comments though. For real. Take the time out, and for real. Just keep them coming. I got thick skin. I'm too old to get upset about stupid stuff. So keep it coming. I definitely appreciate it. But yeah, that's all I got for today. This deal thing is crazy. Let me know in the comments. I've seen some comments that talk about, oh yeah, they're gonna give up and all that stuff, and they're not giving up. So, you know, but let me know, how long do you think this is gonna last? What do you think eventually will happen as far as Activision's relationship with Sony business-wise? Do you think that Xbox is gonna win, if you will, the marketing deals moving forward for, you know, whoever knows how? Let's just say Infinity, because Sony messed up so bad. I don't know, let me know. And I appreciate y'all. And I'll see you on the next one. Took the wait.